Welcome to our channel. In today's video, we're diving into the world of supply chain management and inventory control. Whether you're managing a small business or overseeing a large operation, having a clear, real-time view of your supply chain is crucial. We'll explore how an effective dashboard can help you monitor key metrics, optimize inventory levels, and make informed decisions to keep your operations running smoothly. Stay tuned as we break down the essential features and best practices for creating a powerful supply chain and inventory dashboard. Instead of relying on complex equations, we'll leverage Power Query's powerful data transformation capabilities to clean, organize, and analyze data efficiently. By the end of this tutorial, you'll have a dynamic dashboard that updates automatically as your data changes, providing real-time insights into your supply chain performance and inventory levels without the need for manual calculations. This approach not only saves time, but also reduces the risk of errors, making your data analysis more reliable and streamlined. Alright, let's move. First, I will show all tables. Understanding the data tables is very important in this example, because I do everything in Power Query, so it makes you comfortable to understand quickly. Cool. Here, I use 6 tables, but I don't use any formula, so it takes few minutes to build a master database. Then the remaining part can be completed quickly. Cool. My first table shows purchase history, current stock, and few other details, purchase order-wise. If I filter the product ID number 01, you can see there are 5 lines. That means the company has purchased this item 5 times, but the company hasn't used all from each batch. You might wonder that we learn the first in first out method in theory, but this example shows 5 lines for one item. However, this is the practical scenario, so we have to create dashboards for like those scenarios. Alright, I hope the explanation is clear. If you have any doubt, please comment here. Cool. Next data table shows reordering level. That means the company needs to raise a purchase order to purchase when the stock level reaches that figure. Open purchase orders mean issued a purchase order to a supplier, but the stock has not been received to the company. Next table shows the stock requirement to fulfill the sales orders that have already been received to the company. Fifth table shows monthly inventory turnover ratio for each item. Finally, I show the sales amount so the dashboard users can compare sales and stock value. Now, let's rename all the tables. Open a blank query. Then, I show how to take all the tables to the query once. First, I create total asset value in the purchase details query. Then, create a reference to the purchase details query. When you create a reference, you can have a copy, but the copy also changes when the original file is changed. I changed the name to master database. Later, I insert slices for stock status and supplier name, so I group this based on those criteria. I wanted a single row for each item, so did it that way. As the next step, I need to identify the inventory items that have the highest risk to the production, and I am showing them in a table. Here, risk means if an item's current stock quantity is less than reorder level, it is clarified as high-risk item. How to take the current stock quantity? Do you need to make another reference? No. Click on this button and add an aggregation. Cool. Next, merge the master database and reorder query. Now required details are available in the master database, so let's do some maths. See the raw number 2. Its current stock is 15,450, but they need to raise a PO when stock is 27,144. Then, I need to recognize such rows, so we need to sort the negative numbers in the difference column. Let's go to the workbook, and let's try to do it in the workbook. In this table, I show the current stock and reorder point for high-risk items. The pivot table doesn't give any filter option for difference column. So we need to create a helper column in the Power Query. Now I need to separate negative values in the difference column, so create a conditional column. See. It works. Now I need further details for high-risk items, so I merge the open PO table. Then, I can see whether the purchasing department has acted or not. I need to compare current stock level with future demand, so I merge future demand query also. Then, add a slicer and filter like that way. Alright, if you cannot change your pivot table headings, place one space to the start of the column. See? How easy are these things? Cool. Now, let's create a dashboard interface and link those details. When purchase details are updated, purchase orders count need to be updated, so I create another reference to purchase details query. Next, use group by option to take the purchase orders count. Finally, merge it with the master database. Follow the same procedure for the open PO query. Then, I need to calculate the order accuracy. That means how many orders have been received on or before the expected date. Let's do that calculation. The first row shows that order has been delayed by 2 days. So again, I need to recognize the negative values. Use a conditional column for that one also. Alright, now sort the delayed orders. See, 48 orders have been late. Then, group this query to take a summary. When this is grouped, the total raw counts need to be 48. Perfect. Everything was fine. Now we have how many orders were late out of the total order. So, let's calculate order accuracy percentage. Now, our database is completed, so we can develop the balance part by using pivot tables. Keep in mind, when you copy your pivot table and edit, its slicers also automatically link to other pivot tables. Here, I am going to calculate the percentage of slow-moving items, so remove the connection from the slicers. Once again, keep in mind, when you copy your pivot table and edit, its slicers also automatically link to other pivot tables. We create this slicer as a helper, so we can remove all the pivot table's links except pivot table 3. finally, how to calculate overall inventory's health level. If we do not have a stock at least for future demand, that stock is not healthy. Let's do some maths very quickly. So please follow those steps. The final step is, adjust slices according to background colors. See, there is no correct or wrong method to develop dashboards, but you need to think a little bit. I think you learn at least one new thing from each video. I improve not only your knowledge on Excel, but also your thinking ability. As we wrap up today's discussion on supply chain and inventory management, remember that success in this field requires more than just understanding the basic functions. It demands the ability to think creatively and strategically. By leveraging the power of innovative approaches and staying adaptable, you can overcome challenges, optimize your operations, and drive your business forward. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on Microsoft Excel excellence.